help welcome in another show here on the DraftKings Network. We know we've got this full great lineup of programming here, but starting this fall at 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday and Thursday nights, you're going to get more football in your world. The pregame power-up is going to be coming to your screens right here on the DraftKings Network. Hosted by none other than our old friend and the former co-host of Golic and Wingo, Trey Wingo, joining us here at DraftKings now.
Hey.
Brother man, welcome aboard. How you doing?
I know you guys. Nice to meet you both. How are you?
Wow. It's you never know the craziest paths how they travel, do you?
It's unbelievable, and that's very interesting. Today was the 1-year anniversary of this show, and we're announcing the other thing here. So it's great to see you guys. It's great to see you guys kicking so much butt and doing so much fun, and I'm happy to be a part of it and can't wait to get started, man. It's going to be a lot of fun Monday and Thursday nights.
It's amazing, you know, our show, Golic and Wingo, ended in 21, and it's amazing in the 3 years since how much grayer you and I have gotten, Trey.
Yeah, you know what? At this point, just let it wash over me, baby.
That's it.
I do not care. I'm just glad to still be kicking and still be doing stuff. And, it just feels kind of right to be back here sitting with you guys and talking some football.
And we're going to be with you in person in Kansas City
Absolutely.
next week for the kickoff leading into game 1 of the NFL season, which, Trey, and I know you're excited about this. I mean, God, a longtime veteran of ESPN's NFL coverage, the NFL draft, and so many things. You've been around this sport in particular at this level for such a long time. So what are you excited about with this new show? What should we all expect as we get going for the start of this NFL season with you guys?
Yeah, it's going to be great, and I can't wait to be in Kansas City with you guys. That's going to be a lot of fun. Look, we're just going to break down games every way we possibly can with the betting odds. Claudia Bellafato is going to be with us for that. Emerson Lotzi is going to be on the road with us a lot this week, every week. Stormy's going to be with us as well. And then we're just going to talk football the way we normally do. We're going to break down the games Monday and Thursday nights, see what happened and transpired over Sunday and the things that happened to do it and how it might affect the matchups going forward. So it's basically just going to be a really fast-paced, fun hour of football, getting you set for the primetime games. And, of course, we'll be there all season long, starting, as you said, in Kansas City. And we're going to be in New Orleans all week long for the Super Bowl, too. So it's going to be great. I really am jazzed and looking forward to it.
Yeah, something new for you, hosting a football show that you've only been doing for decades. So
We'll see if it works out,
should be a nice, smooth transition.
I'm stuck in a rut.
So let's quickly talk about next Thursday. As Mike mentioned, we'll all be doing a show in Kansas City for Kansas City and Baltimore. Last year we were there for Kansas City and their 1-point loss to Detroit. So how do you see the season starting out this year for Kansas City?
Well, listen, you know, and I know, and we all know how I felt about Patrick Mahomes for a long time, right? So I cannot imagine a situation going to lose this home opener to start the season in back-to-back years. And remember, it was a catch right here in the hands of the now released Kadarius Toney that led to a pick six, which was the difference in that 1-point loss last year in the home opener the Chiefs had against the Lions. Toney has been released, and really a shame because the guy had talent. He just couldn't get out of his own way. I just can't imagine a scenario in which they're going to lose that game 2 years in a row.
Are you ready for kickoff? Join the football action this preseason and regular season with DirecTV's Sunday Series on DraftKings. You build your best lineup in 6 free contests to compete for a share of $30,000. Then, watch the Sunday games your way, live or on streaming apps with DirecTV satellite free. Play now for free at DraftKings.com/DirecTV. Terms and conditions and other eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Trey, we talked a lot more about the Kansas City defense last year than we ever had during Patrick Mahomes' time under center. And we heard Mahomes talk about how it was frustrating at times the way the offense ended up shaking out last year, and they made the best of it. When you see the new weapons, certainly Hollywood Brown's been banged up, but Xavier Worthy, their top pick out of Texas. Do you think this offense can start to regain some of the form that we saw early in Mahomes' career?
Absolutely. You know, as you guys know, a preseason game is like a regular season game in the same way a tofu burger and a Wagyu burger are both burgers. They couldn't be more different, right? I mean, technically they're both the same sandwich, but they're very, very different. But what I've noticed in the preseason games with Kansas, they're clearly taking more shot plays with the speed they had with Hollywood before he went down, with Xavier Worthy, and now they get Juju back underneath, and we'll see what he has left. And Rashee Rice is also there, and he was such a good complementary receiver. You know, last year the yards per attempt for Patrick Mahomes was the lowest of his career, and the receiving corps led the league in drops, and they still won their second straight Super Bowl. I think this team going into this season for Kansas City might just be the best overall team Mahomes has ever had around him. We know the defense is much better last year and getting into this season than it was in their first couple of Super Bowls, where they just were trying to, you know, stem the tide enough, make one or two stops to sort of give the Chiefs an opportunity. Well, now that Chiefs defense can go out there and make plenty of stops and make plenty of turnovers. And yes, they lost L'Jarius Sneed, but they have a lot of faith in those young cornerbacks and defensive backs they took in that 2022 draft, whether it's Williams, Watson, Cook. They're going to get some of those guys back from injury. Trent McDuffie is a first-team All-Pro. And they have a bunch of pass rushers. You know, Chris Jones, Amenahu's coming back from the torn ACL. I think that Kansas City defense is going to be stout, and I think that offense is going to look similar to the offenses of 2019, 2020, and 21 this year in Kansas City with the shot plays they're going to take.
A couple of surprise teams you think this year that'll make a bit of a jump?
Well, you know, every year we seem to have that one team that goes from worst to first in the division, right? And you look at the Bengals finishing 9-8 last year, and they were last place in the AFC North. They get Joe Burrow back. I'm a little concerned about Cincinnati because I was talking to somebody this summer. You know, the whole the Higgins thing never really got resolved, and they still haven't paid Jamar Chase. And someone said to me, the vibe just isn't right there. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see how it plays out. But something there isn't much in the same way, like, guys, we talked about it. It seemed like every year there was something wrong with Stephon Diggs and the Bills. There was just something that wasn't quite clicking. It kind of has a little bit of that sense right now with the way they're dealing with this Jamar Chase thing. We'll see how that plays out. I'll tell you one team I really like that no one's talking about, and I agree it's dependent on a rookie quarterback, but I'm curious to see what Washington does. You know, they've got weapons. It will depend on Jaden Daniels and how quickly he develops, but Dan Quinn's going to have that defense back to where it was a couple of years ago. They've got a bunch of new defensive players, and the NFC East is really interesting. Historically, the Cowboys are out because they won it last year. No teams repeated in that division. Mike, you almost were playing the last time someone repeated in that division. It was the Eagles 4 years in a row in the late 90s, early 2000s. So let's move the Cowboys out. The Giants, I think, are going to be terrible. And, you know, the whole thing with the Eagles, which is really interesting, when Jalen Hurts was asked about that situation with Nick Sirianni, he goes, why are we talking about this? It's old news, which was him basically saying, yeah, it was a problem, but I don't want to talk about it anymore. So I'm really interested to see what Washington can do. I think they're going to be much better defensively, and they have weapons on offense. So if Jaden comes along, they might be a team that really surprises a lot of people.
They are going to be fascinating in a division that is never short on consternation and anxiety. The NFC East does it well. Probably 3 coaches in there you could legitimately sell as at least hot seat tangent, if not fully in flames. All going to be looking at that. Can Jaden Daniels survive the Cliff Kingsbury late season lull that usually plagued him in Arizona? It's going to be fascinating to watch. Not nearly as fascinating as the pregame power-up, though. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday and Thursday, with our buddy Trey Wingo and a host of the great talent here at the DraftKings Network going to be out with us in Kansas City. Trey, man, can't wait to see you. We'll crack a beer open in KC, and we'll relive the old times, man.
I like this plan. I am very excited about this plan.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Trey. We appreciate it, man. Looking forward to the show starting. Congratulations. Excited to have you on the team, brother.
All right, guys. So glad to be back with you guys. Seriously, it's going to be a blast.